And welcome back to Tabletop Goodness. I think we didn't discuss new TCGs in a while, so here we go. And maybe as a disclaimer, this is not sponsored in any way, but I am a big horror movie enthusiast, which is me quite excited. I recently chanced upon this brand new horror-themed TCG, brought to you by maybe one of the most unlikely combinations of companies. Spin Master, that's the same ones that do toys based on Gabby Stolehouse, Unicorn Academy, and Paw Patrol, Universal, the movie studio magnate, and Ghost Galaxy, known for Keyforge and Mindbug. And I've been thinking long and hard about how I feel about those working together to create the TCG, and you know what? I think this could actually work. Spin Master has so many major industry connections and has, since the initial press release announced franchise tie-ins from Universal Products and Experience, added Blumhouse, AMC Global Media, and Lionsgate to the roster of studio partners to choose horror movies from. And I do love Keyforge, so I'm very curious about Ghost Galaxy co-developing the mechanics behind the game. So what exactly is Hellbreak? According to the website, Hellbreak is a horror-themed trading card game where legendary monsters clash in brutal head-to-head battles. You choose your monster, build your deck, and fight to destroy your rival before they destroy you. Sounds like a lot of fun. In terms of gameplay itself, the game seems to have similarities with more recent TCGs like Riftbound, as it features locations that can be taken control of. Okay, so basically what you need to build a deck is a monster, like Dracula here, which features two different sides, a lurking and an unleashed side. These sides can be changed turn by turn and open up possibilities to play different actions or events, as some of them are tied to your monster being on one side or another. And you get minions, which are the creatures you play, events, basically one-shots, and assets, which stay in play. The two resources used in Hellbreak are surprisingly called Blood. This is used to pay for card and activation costs, and Malice, which can be used for taking control of a location, readying a minion immediately, or, some of the more nasty things you can do. Setup is quite easy as well. Every player puts the monster with the lurking side facing up onto the table, plays a location which they initially control, and draws 4 hand cards. They can mulligan if they wish to do so. Now, the next step I already like quite a bit, because you draw actually 8 cards from your deck, face down, and form your monster's health stack. This means that 8 cards out of your deck are bound to be the health stack, and it adds quite a bit of variability to your deck. Each of these cards is worth 2 health points, and if you get 1 damage, you turn them sideways, and after the second point of damage, the card is removed. But there's another cool horror-themed gimmick. Should a vertical card be removed, you get to check whether it has a jump scare on it, and if so, you can decide to activate it. Should the vampire's coffin be in your health stack, for example, and you take 2 damage, you can actually play it for 1 malice as a jump scare. Pretty cool. And should that health stack ever be empty, well, then you're toast. And then you're actually ready to go. Let's look at an overview of a round and a few more mechanics that I think are quite unique to Hellbreak. Each round has 3 distinct phases: feeding phase, horror phase, and refresh phase. In the feeding phase, each player collects resources. How many? Well, look at your so-called vault and take all you see. In the first turn, that would be just Dracula for you with 2 blood and drawing 2 cards, but the next step can be used to increase your supply. You bid for initiative. Each player can submit a card in order to win initiative. If you don't, your bet is 0, but if you do, it's the amount of blood on the card. Highest number wins initiative, and whoever bid a card puts it now underneath the monster with the vault icons visible. This means the next turn you get to collect even more resources. I absolutely love this kind of mechanic. It ups your resources and at the same time gives you a chance at initiative. After that, we got the horror phase, in which each player in order of initiative gets to do 1 action before moving on to the next player. You can play cards, attack, scheme, use abilities, slumber, or pass. Well, if you wondered what the icons in the top of the cards are, these are called aspects, and you need a certain number of aspect icons, called loyalty, in your vault to play a certain card. Dracula here provides you with 1 cursed loyalty, so you could play Vampire's Coffin if you pay 1 blood resource. Assets, events, and abilities can be used in the same way, checking aspect icons and paying the required cost. If you decide to play a minion, you need to decide on the location, as minions can only attack targets inside their own location. Your monster is considered to be, because I guess it's so big, to be between locations, though, and can't attack either of them. Control of a location does not matter here. If you choose to attack, you can designate a target, and your opponent can choose to assign a defender. Damage in general is persistent, unlike other games where the slate is wiped clean at the end of the round. Well, if you decide to scheme, you will resolve the icons in the middle of the card, plus you get to activate any scheme ability as an addition. Alera here, for example, will haunt her current location, adding 2 or 3 if you pay the scheme cost, malice to the location. If the amount of malice on the location exceeds its malice value, you gain ownership and collect the resource icons shown on the location. Well, you can also choose to slumber, then you gain 1 malice but forfeit all remaining actions in this round, or pass, in which case you skip once, unless your opponent also passes or slumbers, in which case the horror phase immediately ends. The last phase is the refresh phase, in which you'll ready your cards again, decide whether you want to flip your monster from lurking to unleashed side, and discard down to 6 cards. The next round starts again with the feeding phase. Well, this was a very quick overview of the rules and, of course, the devil's in the detail. But I can say that judging from the quick start rules that are currently available, that this looks like a very fun and fast brawler. Even if you're just a collector, this could be a nice one to add to your collection, as we'll be seeing various rarities including alt arts and so-called infamous rarity cards, which will feature some of the most iconic characters of horror movies. With a release date somewhere in Q4 or potentially even fall 2026, I believe there's still time to unveil more cards, and I'm very curious about all the horror movie and franchise tie-ins that we will see in the future. Well, with Dracula, Jaws, Frankenstein, Sleepy Hollow and A Quiet Place already announced, what are some of the movie tie-ins you're hoping to see here? Let me know in the comments down below, and until then, see you again next time on Tabletop Goodness.